guys, Will here with W.T.F car reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this all-new 2022 Chevy Camaro 1LT V6.
And a huge thanks to Rob and the rest of the management and staff here at Chevrolet of Wesley Chapel for making this review possible. I'll leave a link to our inventory below, and if you're in the Tampa, Wesley Chapel area looking for a new car, SUV, or truck, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out and ask for Rob.
So for those of you guys who've been following the channel for quite a while now, know that I'm personally an owner of a 2021 Camaro LT1. We've done quite a few videos on that car, the 2022 Camaro LT1, 2022 Camaro SS1LE, and those cars are absolutely sweet. But finally we get the chance to review a Camaro without the 6.2 liter pushrod V8. Here we have a 2022 Camaro 1LT with a 3.6 liter V6. Of course, the Camaro is available in 4 different engine options, starting with the 2.0T, which is the base engine for the 1LS that starts at $26,395, making 275 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, enough to get that car to 60 in 5.5 seconds, which is really quick for a $26,000 car. You can upgrade a couple $100 to the 1LT, which gives you nicer wheels, still same base engine, the 2.0T. You can also upgrade for the 1LT to the 3.6 liter V6 that we have here, which cranks out 335 horsepower and 284 pound-feet of torque. So slightly down on torque, but significantly up on horsepower. This 3.6 liter V6 is enough to get the Camaro to 60 around 5 seconds. Of course, the 6.2 can help get the Camaro around 4, and the 6.2 liter supercharged V8 can get the Camaro around 3.5. The 3.6 liter V6 will run you an additional $1,600. Same with the automatic transmission that we have equipped on this Camaro 1LT. The dual mode exhaust runs you an additional $1,000. Tech package runs you an additional $800. All of those are equipped here. The tech package gives you an upgraded 8-inch touchscreen and a very impressive Bose sound system. The bass system for the Camaros is a very good sound system, but this 8-speaker Bose is a whole nother level. These wheels, these 5-spoke, 5Y-spoke rims are also an additional $100. But other than that, coming out to a total price around $35,000. Let's see what we get. So up front, basically the same styling as my Camaro LT1. They share a front end. That's why the LT1 is significantly cheaper than an SS. We do have the RS package too, if I didn't mention. LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights, a little bit of shiny chrome in the corners. That is specific for the RS. Functional airflow on both sides of your front end. No hood scoop or heat extractor, whatever you like to call it, like we get for the LT1 and the SS and ZL1. That's like the main difference of the front end of this 1LT V6. The rims, I actually like these. The black rims are a little bit nicer in my opinion, but if I didn't have the black rims and I had these, I also would not complain. These are 20-inch rims wrapped in Goodyear Eagle F1 asymmetric all-season tires. They are a square setup, dimensions being 240/40 R20. Same wheel and tire setup as the Camaro LT1. Camaro badge in the corner, red, white, and blue, America. The mirrors, they don't fold, unfortunately. None of the Camaro mirrors fold. We don't get blind spot monitoring here either, but the glass fills up the frame pretty well. The blind spots aren't too terrible in the Camaro. The door handles, we get we get smart access for both of the doors. Same rear wheel and tire setup. We don't get Brembo brakes, just a basic brake setup. Out rear, the RS gets these smoked out taillights, and I'm a huge fan of these. I think they look very clean. RS badge, quad exhaust, of course. We get the dual mode performance exhaust for $1,000. Shout out Wesley Chapel Chevrolet for making this review possible. Lip spoiler too, but let's fire up this 3.6 liter V6 and hear how she sounds. All right guys, that was the sound of the 3.6 liter V6 sold by Chevy for the 2022 Camaro 1LT with the V6. And it sounds pretty good, and it makes a very decent amount of power. I was not expecting it to spin the tires off the line after giving it a couple miles an hour of a roll, but making 335 horsepower, 284 pound-feet of torque, enough to get this car to 60 in around 5.2 seconds, which is very respectable for a V6. We get hydraulic struts for the hood, strut tower braces connecting your strut towers to the chassis. In front of your radiator, we have additional support, so the handling should be fantastic. The steering doesn't feel quite as heavy as the LT1. which makes sense. I mean, this is a 3.6 compared to a 6.2, which should also help when it comes to handling. The motor's pushed back very nicely, but we can shut this hood right up. What you see is basically what we get. Nice. We'll take one more step back, check out the front end styling. Very aggressive. I feel like I prefer the styling here for the V6 Camaro. Not to say that the LT1 is uglier. I mean, they have the exact same front end. It can just get a little bit annoying when your car is constantly confused as a V6. But if that really bothers you, just pay the extra couple $1,000 and go for the SS. But anyway, stepping inside, hard plastic up top, which is questionable to me because we have the leather stitching for the areas where your knee will hit on both sides. So it would be nice if you got like a soft touch pocket up here for your arm as well. The armrest down below is pretty nice and soft, same materials as my LT1. Auto one touch for the windows. We get 4-way adjustable mirrors. They're not power folding. 8-speaker Bose sound system, and it sounds excellent, really excellent. Definitely recommend it as an option for the $800 tech package. Camaro nameplate as you step inside, but there's no color differentiation. The seats, same as my LT1, they're power seats. You can recline, drop, lift, and slide. Pretty comfortable seats, reasonably supportive, but they're not as nice, of course, as the leather or the Recaro seats. Taking a step inside, we can really check it out. So start her up. Sounds pretty good for a V6. It's not going to sound anywhere near as good as the 6.2. Oops, okay, that's a problem. We don't want to set off any copyrights, but overall, it's an impressive interior. We can turn this air down by a couple so you guys can hear a little better. Same exact steering wheel as my LT1. As we mentioned though, it does feel a little bit lighter because there's a little bit less weight up front. Is this thing still making noise? Yeah, that's weird. But the steering wheel itself, paddle shifters, they respond very quickly, just like on the LT1. Cruise control, this adjusts your infotainment thingy. So the LCD cluster, we're currently looking at a digital speedo. We get average fuel economy and the trip A, trip B, fuel information, oil life, tire pressure, air filter life, average speed, timer, battery voltage, coolant temperature, oil pressure, transmission fluid temperature, and a blank screen. We also get performance pages, but you have to actually add them onto the screen, and I'm not going to do that with the dealership car. The turn signal stocks have a very satisfying click. Auto headlamps appreciated, no rain sensing wipers, but wouldn't be expected. To the left of the steering wheel, this adjusts your interior brightness. The air vents have a cool little cockpit design thingy to it. I'm not really a big fan of this hump. I know a lot of people say the Camaro has rough blind spots, but personally, I don't think the rear visibility is all that terrible. The forward visibility is really not bad at all, outside of this hump just getting in the way of things. If you're like reclined back after a long day's work, it can get a little bit annoying. The gauges, same as my Camaro LT1, 160 mile an hour speedometer. The tach goes to 7,000 RPM, so that's different. This is a higher revving V6. Fuel and coolant right up top. The screen upgraded compared to my LT1. I was excited to test this one out because I don't have this on my car. It's basically the same when it comes to response. We get an extra inch, and the display itself looks like a slightly higher resolution. The sound system though, miles ahead. I have a good sound system in the base Camaro LT1, but this is at least 3 times better. It's a big upgrade. We can return home. We have shortcuts with hard buttons. Automatic climate control, it's just a single zone automatic climate control. I personally use manual climate even in cars with auto climate, so not a big deal for me, but it's still nice to get auto climate as a standard feature on the Camaro. The pockets over here for where your knee will often hit are leather stitched, nice attention to detail. 10-speed automatic transmission. You can turn off your traction control, drive mode select. We have sport, tour, and snow and ice. We'll start the review off in sport, transition into tour, and just see what the differences are. 12 volt, good spot for a radar detector. 2 cup holders with a pass-through, good spot for a phone. The armrest, it's not the softest, it's actually very hard. That's my only thumbs down with these 6th gen Camaros, but it does the job. It does fill up your entire arm, at least for the driver, not the passenger, but I guess this is a driver's car. Who really cares about the passengers? But in here, not so much space at all compared to the other muscle cars or sports cars in the segment. This is probably the least amount of space. We do get a aux port and a USB port back there, so that's, I guess, appreciated. The glove box, we can pull this latch. It's damp, not lined with felt, of course, but it's very large. I'd expect you to fit 30 license plates. This is a very large glove box, a little bit of stitching above it. Frameless rear view mirror, that's nice. It's not auto dimming. You can pull this flappy thing to dim it. But other than that, that's about it. Interior light, LED. Again, that's about it, guys, for this interior. I'm not gonna hop out back. You can check out my Camaro LT1. Actually, yeah, we'll hop out back just to show you how absurdly tiny it is. I'm gonna move the front seat up because that's actually my only chance of getting back there. So if I'm the driver, I'm gonna be still relatively comfortable. This is how much I would sacrifice for whoever I would have sitting behind me. So back seat space, I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall, sitting behind compromised seat settings, and I still have absolutely zero space. I can fit back here. If I didn't compromise those seat settings, I would not have fit back here. But as you see, my legs are hovering outside of the seat. My feet are trapped in between the two. So anything over a 5-minute trip, I don't think I would really like. My head, it's in the ceiling. No head space, no leg space. Anybody over, I would say 5'3", really would not want to spend much time back here. Hard touch for the armrest. We do get speakers back here. Tiny little mirror for you, or window, what am I saying, to look out of. No center cubby, wouldn't be expected since there's only 2 seats. Very large hump, which I guess functions as bolsters in case the driver is driving like a maniac. But as you see, there's just no space back here. Let's get out of here if I even can. Wow, this is tighter than any third row that I've ever sat in. This is tighter than the Mitsubishi Outlander's third row. And the Mitsubishi Outlander is a compact SUV. Absolutely tiny, worse than the segment, but let's be real, no other car in the segment has a good back seat. So that's not what you buy these cars for. You don't buy it for the opening either. This is the smallest opening in the segment, smallest trunk in the segment, but it's deep. You can fit quite a bit of stuff. Height-wise, I drive this car and I can fit 3 or 4 beach chairs. I can fit an umbrella back here, 2 golf bags, catcher's bag. It's just you have to lean it and angle it in a different way compared to other cars. We can shut this thing right up, take one more step back. Hear those exhaust tips rumbling. It sounds good for a 3.6 liter V6. Beautiful car, especially with the RS package. It contrasts the white paint color with those smoked out taillights beautifully. I wish we had black wheels. I think black wheels would look very nice on this 2022 Camaro 1LT RS V6, but that's about it. Let's take it out for a drive. All right, guys, now we're just about seen everything we need to see with the inside and outside of this 2022 Camaro 1LT V6. So let's take it out for a drive. We're gonna start off in sport mode. Throttle feels nice and sensitive. We'll compare it to regular mode at some point. Move the seat back, because I still got the front seat set up as if I was about to sit in the back. Smooth power delivery. The transmission feels great. Just like my LT1, when you let off the gas pedal, it has like a little whine sometimes during the deceleration. Not quite sure what that is. Might be something to do with the transmission. Let me strap the seatbelt onto my water bottle, because we all know that thing's about to be flying around everywhere. But taking a step out here, manual shifts, first gear. Nice. That was about a 1/3 throttle. Good torque. Yeah. Taking a step out here. Ooh, sensitive. Nice. Ooh. And through the turns. Ooh. Nice. It handles well. Not bad. Second gear. Good torque. Again, it won't blow you away, but the top end is very strong. Throw it in way faster than we should over here. Oh yeah, it feels nice. Yeah, the torque download's nowhere even close to the 6.2. Wouldn't be expected. I'll try to get a couple runs in with the high revs. We haven't really taken it over 5,000 yet. And 5,000 is really just where everything begins. As far as turning radius, we can check it out here as soon as we get the chance. Looks like we don't even need to wait for the chance. We have plenty of room to do so. Yeah. Feels nice. Very balanced through the corners. The steering doesn't feel as heavy as the LT1, which makes sense. The LT1 has a larger engine up front, which weighs the wheels down more. But you definitely feel that, even though this is an electric steering rack. We'll try to get one in the higher RPMs. Wow. I'm not sure what that noise is. There's like a gap in the windshield that has like a noise. I thought my Camaro LT1 has a bad one, but this is significantly worse. But yeah, this thing is all about the handling. It handles so well. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, but we can take it out of sport. We don't have to push it a whole lot farther than that. All right. feel like the transmission here, it's not tuned to be quite as snappy as with the 6.2. It doesn't really bang those shifts the same way. It kind of reminds me of how the LT1 feels in tour mode. But here it's in sport. Second gear. See, like it doesn't like snap the shifts. And you hear that? It's a weird noise. Hopefully that's could be fixed before the owner picks this thing up. But I'm impressed with this car overall. As we said, we'll take it out of sport mode, try it out in tour for a little bit. Okay, tour mode. Try a quick acceleration. It doesn't sound a whole lot quieter, honestly. The steering gets a ton lighter. Now it feels like a luxury car steering. This is super light. So if you're used to like V6 4-cylinder Camaros, you're gonna get into a V8 Camaro and the first thing you'll notice is the noticeably heavier steering. All right guys, taking a step out here in tour mode. Yeah, you can still hear the exhaust pretty nicely. It sounds good. The biggest thing that I'm noticing compared to the 6.2s is just the lack of low-end punch. I would like to drive the 2-liter turbo, see if it feels the same way, but every gear shift, even with this 10-speed close ratio transmission, it just feels like every gear shift, you lose a noticeable amount of power, especially the first and second shift. The second gear goes to about 66, 67 miles per hour. In the Camaro LT1, it goes to about 60. So the Camaro, it doesn't have shorter gears, but it has a lower red line. So it tops out at around 60 in second gear, whereas this tops out at 66. If they tune the transmission, if this could also top out at 60 miles an hour in second gear, I feel like you'll get a quicker 0 to 60 time, of course, and you would also feel more torque in that first and second shift. But overall, this is a great sports car. Obviously, for the $35,000 price point, and we didn't check out the window sticker yet. I apologize. Here you go. You can pause, take a look at it. Sorry, but for $36,000 after destination, this is an expensive sports car. You can get an LT1 for probably close to that money. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend optioning up a V6 Camaro this heavily. I would recommend going with the tech package for $800, but all these like design elements, the RS package, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going for it on a V6, but it's still a great sports car. I had an absolute blast driving it. It handles fantastically. It handles so much better than EcoBoost. And if you don't want a turbocharged, smaller engined sports car, this is probably the best way to go, because let's be real, the Challenger V6, it's not going to put nearly the same smile on your face. And a huge thanks to Chevy of Wesley Chapel for making this review possible. I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're in the Tampa, Wesley Chapel area looking for a new car, SUV, or truck, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And huge thanks to all you guys for watching. I had a great time making this video. Finally got my hands on a non-V8 Chevy Camaro. I know it's not necessarily something to be happy about. Most people want to get the V8, but I've been trying to get my hands on the V6 for quite some time now, so I finally get to check that one off the list. I can't even talk, guys. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys know the channel is just not possible without you guys, and I really appreciate the constant support. But again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Leave a like too. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm. That's how these videos get promoted to new people. Leave a comment, let me know what you like, let me know what you don't like. Leave a comment, let me know if there's any specific cars, SUVs, or trucks you'd like to see reviewed in this channel too. And I'll definitely try to get those videos for you as soon as possible. But other than that, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a great day.